Welcome back to Kapeleris Talk TV. Joining me in the studio is Daniel Chin, real estate investor and owner of Chin Properties. Welcome, Daniel.
Well, it's good to be here,
Yeah, it's great
Carmela.
to have you. Now, you used to build for the Habitat of Humanity in Toronto for 2 to 3 years. How did you get into investing?
Yes, so investing started, it's sort of tied together with Habitat for Humanity.
Right.
When I heard a very compelling speech from the CEO at that point in time, and I was like, wow, I can actually build houses, for a good cause, and then after at the same point in time, I was reading a lot about real estate investing.
Yes.
Spending days, nights, and weekends. It was very unusual for someone my age to, to be reading voraciously on the real estate investing.
It
Yes,
was a passion. It was something that you
absolutely.
really wanted to do. And did you learn a lot of your designs from the Habitat of Humanity? Did you learn a lot about building and design there?
Yep. So Habitat for Humanity taught me one thing, Carmela, and that was houses are not built 100% perfect. Right? They
Right.
try to, from the foundation to the finish, to try to do it 100% everything accurate. But over time, things they shift. It's not
Yes.
100% perfect. But
Yeah.
I did develop my design ideas. It's really from everywhere, and looking at other people's work, and really getting those ideas, and that's how I implement it in my work. Yeah.
That's great. Well, what are the past projects that you have completed successfully? Which ones can you tell us about?
Yep. So there's many, Carmela, but I'll just tell
There's
you the
many?
most recent one, which was a bungalow I acquired, and it had a basement that doesn't feel like a basement. So it's imagine a very long rectangle, 30 feet frontage, 157 feet deep, lots of windows all around, and 700 square feet for each level. So it was my most proud project because the design in the basement, which I completely did from scratch, it was the most beautiful design.
What made you purchase this bungalow in Hamilton?
So the opportunity came, Carmela, one day just coming home, the neighbor right across the street, they were doing renovation. So, I approached them and asked them if they were planning to sell. I thought it was just the contractors working on the property.
Right.
And it was really the owner, the father, who was the owner of the property, took me around in less than 10 minutes. He said, 300,000, Carmela, and I let it go. I said, okay, we signed the papers now.
Oh, so you thought you did your research and you knew that was a good deal.
Oh, absolutely. That's the
Yeah.
third time I'm repeating the same thing on the same street.
Right. Okay. Okay. So that's good. That was a great opportunity that popped into your lap.
Absolutely.
You were doing duplexes, though. We have projects of yours available on screen, and they look like you did duplexes. And
Absolutely, yes.
how did that come about? How hard was that to do?
Well, you really have to know everything about your market, Carmela, before you invest. That's a secret. If you want to do it successful, you have to know exactly how many rents you can get, exactly who you'd be renting to, and how quickly.
Right.
You know those three things, everything about the market, and guaranteed you become successful.
Right.
So you ask the question, how do I do that? Simply on that same street, you walk up and down the street, you knock on every single door, and you talk to the neighbors. They tell you everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so your last two projects in Hamilton were duplexes. Can you
Yes.
tell us more about that? What you purchased them for, and what your expenses were, etc.
Yep. So one of them, the last one I told you that was a private deal. When he said 300,000, he let it go. We signed the papers at the same time.
Right.
Right. So at the price point 300,000, I knew renovation was only going to be 50,000.
Yes.
And after renovation, the property will be valued at 350,000. So
Right.
today, the property, it is fully rented at 2,300, right? 2,300 gross rents. The mortgage is 1,000. operating expenses, which is property taxes, insurance, utilities, is 700.
And that's the bungalow, right?
Yeah, so 1700 minus 23 is how much? 600 positive cash flow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you buy the properties and you put 20% down.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. You don't buy them to flip, you buy them to keep.
Absolutely.
And you rent them.
Yes.
Sometimes people buy properties like this at a very low price at 300, so that they can turn around and flip it and make maybe $50,000 to $75,000 on them short term. Mind
Yes.
you, it depends how fast they can get them fixed, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, it makes sense that you're doing that, and that you're doing. Who is doing your repairs? Are you doing them yourself, or are you hiring people to do?
No, now I have good contractors, Chinese contractors who work for me, right? And it took a while to develop a good team of people, right? When I started, I was dealing with a lot of bad contractors.
Right, right. So you really had to scout out to get a team that you felt you could trust and work with, and that worked together as a group.
Absolutely.
So this is what's making your investing and buying and investing successful, which is what we recommend everyone to do.
Yes.
All right, time for a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking to Daniel Chin about investing, flipping, and renovating properties. Welcome back. Daniel, can you speak on maybe some of the big mistakes that you made while you were investing in properties?
Yes, so there's many, but for the time frame of the show, I'll just tell you one of the biggest. So it's really hiring bad contractors. Okay, Carmela, because I always say you can't make a good deal with a bad person. You just can't.
Yeah.
Right? And when I was dealing with the bad contractors, they want to get paid, but they don't want to work.
Right.
So it's the first time I've ever, and this happened last year, it's the first time I've ever heard quote-unquote payment with holidays.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense, right? You want to get paid for no work. So the second thing from that experience, what I've learned, Carmela, is when you work with good people, it makes everything a lot easier. It's a big difference.
Daniel, you know, that's a really important point that you made, because I'm sure a lot of people, whether they're renovating their basement or whether they're putting on an addition to their home, all have the same problem with contractors and trades. Yes. Is there did you find a formula that that avoids that stress of, you know, finding good people to work with you?
Well, I think, Carmela, when you do good work, right, it really attracts people, good people, to want to work with you, because we all want to, you know, get the job done right.
Right.
You know, and these people, they stick with you.
Right.
And you build that loyalty and that strong relationship with them over time. So now I'm in the position, Carmela, where I'm doing big renovation jobs, let's just say over 10,000, 20,000. I don't have to pay, you know, any deposit up front. I only pay the full payment at the end, right? When you have those strong relationships with the trades, you can do so.
So it comes over time that you develop relationships with people that you can trust. Tell us how you just keep getting more and more money from the bank.
So the secret there, Carmela, is you got to have a really good mortgage broker, right, who knows how to play the mortgage game very well. Because as investors, when the bank says no, right, we try to find another way around to get through it, to get the mortgage, right? So what I would say is what helps is to have very little debts as possible.
Right, okay. What are some of your tips for real estate investors that want to get started?
Well, number one, really understand what it is you're investing in, right? Know a lot about it before you actually invest. And the second thing is, what I would say is, you got to have patience, right?
Yeah.
This is a long-term game, and you got to have patience. In a seller's market right now, Carmela, where there's not too many buying opportunities,
True.
right? You know, you got to have patience and only strike you know, when you see the good properties that actually make sense and makes money.
Yes, yes, and it's a little bit hard, like you said, in this market too, because if it's a very, very good property, you're sure there's going to be another bidder or two on the house as well.
Yes.
So unless you go out to the outskirts of the GTA and Mississauga area, how is Hamilton for investment? How do you see it? How's the market right now, and where do you see it going for 2017?
Yep, so a lot of people say it's getting hot. I still see opportunities in Hamilton. There is demand. The city is spending millions of dollars to really improve the city itself. You know, lots of condo developments. I still see demand in Hamilton over the next 3 to 5 years, Carmela.
Okay, what types of property in Hamilton do you recommend people invest in?
Well, I only focus on one type of property, and that's multifamily apartments. I understand it very well, and you know, that's the one thing.
Are you talking about a home with a basement apartment, or are you talking about a duplex? Are you talking about sixplexes?
Yep. So these are duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, and now I'm in the position where I would like to go much larger into apartment buildings, 10 units, etc. Yep.
Okay, and how much right now is the average price of a duplex in Hamilton?
So for duplexes, where it actually makes sense, you stick with a price range around 250 to 350,000.
Okay, so people can actually buy a duplex with two self-contained apartments.
Absolutely.
For 250,000.
For 250,000, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And well, that's good to hear. Now, what's the biggest profit that you've ever made on one of your duplexes?
Well, in terms of profit, if you look at the equity that has built in the properties over time, I would say at least 100 to 200,000, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. That's very good. And how long did it take you to make that?
That was over the years, because since I started in 2012, right? You know, you see the great thing, Carmela, about holding properties over the long term. You really see the compound effect in the investment. And for me, it's consistent positive cash flow and equity growth over the long term, right? So you really see your investments compound. You know, and it keeps making money.
Well, I'm so happy about your success, and I think it's an opportunity for people to look in Hamilton and Burlington, those areas there. There's a lot of opportunities for rentals and rental investment properties, or just flipping and renovating. And thank you again, Daniel, for being on the show and sharing this information with us, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that wraps up another episode of Kapeleris Talk TV. I want to thank my guest on today's show, Daniel Chin of Chin Properties. It has been a pleasure to interview him at the Rogers TV studio. As always, I look forward to my next conversation with leaders in our community about real estate and beyond. Until then, please check out my website at kapeleris.com for more information. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you continue to tune in for more.